Thank you. That was really wonderful, and there were a lot of new things that we learned out here. So that was really nice. Thank you. I think we already have a question from Arun over here. I'll read it out to you from the chat box. It says, "Is there any validation done on your recommendations? Um, right? Uh, if yes, how do you do it?"
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Arun, sir, for that question. What we essentially do, sir, is we bring the world colleges to your school, and it is for the parent and the child and the university to speak to each other. We are bringing you together, so we are an aggregator of all the universities. If they are a direct apply partner institute, we have selected them. They are very, very good colleges. So for example, in India, you would have the OP Jindal University, Amity, Kriya, Plaksha. These are wonderful universities with a plethora of courses for the student to choose from. But it is bringing every college in the world to your parent and the school, and you can then talk with their representatives. Thanks for that question. Anything else from the team?
Yeah, so I think it's open to all the audience right now. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions. And I think I'll unmute you, or I'll request you to ask your questions directly. Arun has raised his hand. Please continue, Arun, please.
Actually, the question was about validation of your recommendations. So you're recommending something in career counseling, then whatever your recommendations are they right or they're wrong, or do they go wrong? So how do you validate those your recommendations?
Got it. Thanks again for that, Mr. Arun. So we have partnered with one of the top American companies called Human eSource, and they run the psychometric tests for us. The child takes these tests at the beginning of their academic year, and this forms a very strong basis of what the child is interested to be able to do. But we still say that the school the school counselor plays a very important role. So it is the recommendation really of the school counselor based on our report and the parent and the child. We also have a very strong team of counselors, and that depends on the school whether they would like to invite our counselors to talk with their parents and students. We are also very, very happy to do that. We are trusted by some of the top schools in the world. We have been in the industry for 6 long years, and students have been very thankful and very successful in the recommendations, and they have gone on to join the universities and colleges. But the final take is with the school counselor, the parent, and the child. So it's a three-way process. We facilitate this by bringing them in touch with everyone. I hope that was fine. Yeah.
Thank you. So Arun, I hope Arun has been answered, right? Yeah, my question to you basically.
The validation part has still not come.
The validation.
Yes.
So you are talking about the career guidance, sir? Is that what you want?
That is whatever you recommend. You see, it has to be validated by, say, after 10 years. Is it being followed or not? Is it correct, or you've gone wrong? So you see, the test is really to see whether your recommendations are correct or not correct, and that can be seen by following up the career that you recommend, whether that person succeeds in that career or he leaves that career and goes somewhere else.
Right. So I think I'll just try to bring in a little clarity into this. Is so what he means to say that if Cialfo has recommended that somebody be a doctor, and then that later on in life the person actually wants to be an engineer. So how do you actually validate that your recommendations to the child are are authentic? Is I think that is what Arun wanted to say, right?
Sure. I mean, once a child matures, once he finishes college, takes up his very first job, that student could then change his job as well, and you could choose a different career. But at that point in time, and when he is in class 8 to class 12, we bring out the best, and it points out at that point in time what is his academic interest. And you are right, that might change once he gets his first job and he will try to move on, but that's fine. People are welcome to do that, but we give you a career guidance and tell them at that age group what are all the options, but it's still left to the parent and the child to take the final call, and that can change over time. That's absolutely fine. So can we
Yeah.
move on to the next if there is any more questions?
There's some sound coming. I think there's someone's mic that is on. Would you kindly turn it off if you don't mind? Just give me a second. I'm trying to work out. Yeah, sorry. All right. So anyway, that was a little disturbance. That's okay. So I wanted to know, for example, when we are talking about careers and we are helping children to understand a career, and you said through the psychometrics test, you're able to give them a career. Now, there are many students today who feel that the job that they're going to do has not yet been invented. Now, how do you deal with those kids?
Yes, and that's a very good question to even the examination boards of the world. What should the curriculum be to prepare a child for jobs that are not yet invented? And I think the best curriculum allows the child to apply, use practical skills, being inquisitive. It's building the skills that is going to assist the child all through. So what we essentially do, Mr. Charles, that's a really nice question. So we are a structure which actually allows the student to demonstrate what he has been doing. So supposing the child has taken up, say, let's say internships. So you can actually upload these internships into a portal. So what we do is basically transmit this data of the child to his applying university, so the college can then see what all this child has done. Oh, so nice that the child has done work experience with, let's say, a finance company during the summer, say internship, and the child has taken up sports from 8th to the 12th grade. So we actually allow the child to uh, showcase to the world what all are his capabilities, and this is left with the school and the child. We are just the outer structure shell to put this information in, what do you say, in it. So the school might engage the child with, say, what do you say, inter-school activities, sports, drama, theater, put all that in. And one would hope that the school and the exam board that the school has selected will prepare a child for jobs that are yet to be uh, de- developed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And would you recommend some skills that a child should enhance that would help him across all jobs? So the HCF of skills.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of work on this. There is UNICEF. There are various organizations, various examination boards. I used to work for Cambridge and the as well as the IBO. Both are wonderful exam boards, and they talk about certain skills, or what's called in the academic knowledge, the learner profile. And this talks about curiosity. This talks about being the innovators, can a student who is in class 4 or class 5 be a successful innovator? So it is left with the school to show how the child can demonstrate these learner profiles. You can be curious. I think the school should allow the child to grow in all ways, both spiritually, emotionally, physically, and I think that's the best preparation for a child to live on in the best field.
That's right. In fact, what is your take on the NEP right now while talking about careers?
Oh, I think it's a fantastic structure which the government has come up with, and it would need to be implemented well by each of the state boards. The NEP has come up with a very clear framework talking about all the aspects of a child, not only from the pre-primary, which is the early years, right up to the university stage. And I think we would want to see it being implemented successfully. It's a very well thought through document, especially since the government gave the opportunity to schools and academicians to share their views and opinions. A draft was done, and then a final take was done. So I think it actually encompasses so much of thought that has gone into it. I would recommend that every educationalist download a copy of the NEP, study it well, and implement it as much as they can.
Yeah, in fact, it's begun already. It started in 2020, 1 year's over. And I think most of us have already started some way or the other trying to implement it, as well as the government is also helping us. Um, the other question that came to my mind over here was, when we're talking about careers, right? Um, what should a child look for in a career? Should it be happiness, position, or money?
Oh, I'm sure we all want them all. That's a good one. That's a good point you
I
have
want to
raised.
prioritize it.
Oh well, there was an old saying that what do you say? Early to bed and early to rise makes you for healthy, wealthy, and wise, of course.
Wise.
Um, I I think taking the stress out of a child is important. Right now, from what I've seen, especially post COVID, it's the mental well being which is being increasingly spoken on. The kind of stress on the child has increased dramatically with competitive exams and tests, and this urge to be better than the for next child. I think that should go. It's more on collaboration and a stress free environment. I think looking at the EQ is now becoming very, very important, and I would give the importance to that at this point in time.
Yes. So when we're talking about EQ, so are we talking about social skills or just having EQ only?
Well, I think the emotional intelligence, the fact of a child being empathetic, because you're looking at them in as a citizen of the entire world, and it is no longer a time where a student is going to be working in a very, very isolated role. You are going to be working in a role which is encompassing multi countries, different people. You're going to be interacting, especially in a time like this where you're working at home, you're working from home, you are cross culturally working with teams from around the world. You're going to have the ability to interact with people from along the side. And I think schools need to give students the opportunity to work with teams. And one competition that I recently attended, this was a STEM competition. This was a robotics competition, and these were two teams. Team A versus Team B, and the actual points were not given just to the 5 or 6 people of Team A and Team B, but points were the teams able to assist the opposite team. So the
Hmm.
the more you help the opposite team to accomplish the common coding, uh, that's when that team would get the maximum points. So you not only have to help your own teammates, but your competition as well. And that's the kind of collaborative um, collaborative workspace that students need to build themselves on. But I'm just going back into what we as a company do. Our main essential is getting the applications from schools into colleges. So we are partnered with Common App. We are partnered with Parchment as well as Direct Apply, and the idea with our company Cialfo, what you see on the screen, and our website is cialfo.co. That's cialfo.co. You would find is an opportunity where we bring colleges to schools, and the parent, the child, and the counselor can meet with these representatives and take the best course that the child wants to do. So there's going to be so much of interaction between the college representatives and the school. So there are webinars that we actually aggregate. So there are webinars held every other opportune time, where the reps from colleges talk to candidates on what they have to offer. So our career guidance would let the child understand what are all the options available, and then in a consultative way choose the best one. So that's how I would like to, yeah.
So there's another question that has come up: is can EQ be measured, and can it be enhanced?
Okay, so this is again a very good question, and I wish I had the answer to such a deep question. I would recommend a website that talks about it. I think the Acer has developed a good formula on emotional uh, uh, co- quotient. I'm not the expert on the EQ, but I'm sure there are others that would have that. Yeah.
That was very nice. Thank you so much. And I'll still open the session for if there are any more questions. You could feel free. Any of them, if you feel you can give your suggestions too, or talk about just about anything that over here. It's open, right? So I come to my last question. I hope you don't mind. Yeah. So the last question over here is, when we're talking about Cialfo, so how relevant is it for schools in semi-urban and rural areas?
Oh, many thanks for that question, Charles. And that's why we are here. Our vision of our founders, Rohin, Stanley, and William, want to give every child everywhere in the world, not just in India, whether they are a tier A city or a tier B, the opportunity for them to go abroad, get the exposure that they require. So this platform is going to be with every school in India. That's our aim, and every child will be at a tip of a finger, be able to browse any college anywhere in the world, get to speak with them, and then take a call on what's best. So it doesn't really make a for difference anymore whether you come from a small town or a big city. We as a company have this vision within us to bring every child to every college. So that is one of the best questions you could have really asked me. That sums up our organization, and we need your help and institutions like yours and this wonderful audience here to spread this word across that such an app and portal is available for every school around the world and in India.
So thank you so much. This was a very enlightening session where we learned a lot about it. And I think this is a unique app, a Cialfo, which will help us to integrate our students with everyone around the world. So once again, I would like to thank you for this wonderful session. I would also like to thank our audiences over here for this session, for being with us for all 3 days, enjoying yourself, giving us questions. And I'm sure that each one of you has taken a lot from here. I personally have learned a lot. I think our speakers have been brilliant. And thank you once again, Vinayak ji, for this wonderful session. I would also like to, right near on the screen, I would like to re-invite our audiences for another session in December 22nd to 24th. Why was school created? I think that's really something that is thought provoking. It says raw and real. So I'm sure that we are going to enjoy ourselves at the other side when we meet again with raw and real. Why was schools created? So once again, thank you everyone. Good night and all the best. Bye everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so